Processes in the information security strategy. Well, first we've got our risk management policy. We want to take risk down to an acceptable level. You can never completely eliminate risk, but you can bring it down to an acceptable level. You can do this through mitigation, assignment, or transfer of responsibility, and you get left with the residual risk, which should be an acceptable amount. Management likes a low amount of risk so they can pursue new things. Incident response policy. If something bad happens, you need to deal with it. The best way to deal with it is to have a plan in place before it happens. If you don't, you're going to have people running around like a chicken with its head cut off, doing stupid things, destroying evidence if you wanted to prosecute, and letting the bad guy get away, and not properly protecting your assets. Have a plan, you know what to do. Pull the network cable first, that's a common thing. Call security, you mitigate the attack, and you deal with it. You're going to have an information classification policy. Different information has different value. Personnel records always have to be kept forever, but it's also private information. Someone working in the company may not want someone else to know. The company may manage its own health care, may be self-insured, which means the company holds some health information where if leaked would open the company to liability. Some things will provide a competitive edge. Trade secrets have to be protected. Different classifications for different types of data based upon their value to the organization. And of course, you're going to classify that value based upon tangibles and intangibles, including liability. You're going to implement specific goals or conditions, things you want to have happen, triggers for things to set off. If you notice something bad happening, you notice things aren't being caught at a certain point, you're going to fix your security. You're going to monitor. You notice people taking shortcuts. You're going to start implementing security there to avoid it. You should have as close as possible to near 100% compliance to security processes. You should have things going smoothly. You shouldn't have breaches. And where they're likely to happen, you want to know about them. You want reporting and tracking of those metrics that are monitoring. Continuous monitoring is one of those things loved by this exam. If we can put in processes that are always looking at something continuously and monitoring for any deviation so we can catch it in the middle of that transaction instead of waiting 2 days later to find out that someone did something wrong, that's better. We can stop something from going awry early. So it has to be reported, and it has to be reported timely. And if we can do it through automated, continuous processes, that's the best. Managing identities and permissions. Know who your users are, know what your resources are. Users that are approved can access resources. If they're not approved, they can't. We're going to do provisioning of resources to only those that are authorized. If someone doesn't need something, we don't give it to them. What's known as the principle of least privilege. If you don't need a right or permission to do your job, then you shouldn't get it. It's not that we're telling someone they can't do it. We're protecting them from messing up and causing a problem. And for the bad guy, we're keeping them from being able to cause a problem. Finally, education and training. Important axiom. If people know the right thing to do, they will generally do it. Most people are good, honest, and decent. We all love to harass our users, say things about them, but most of them are pretty good, actually. If they know the right thing, they're going to do it. If they know what's bad, they won't. I think back to several years back where an email went around saying, I have a virus on my system and I may have emailed it out to you. You can tell if you have it. Go to this one folder. You'll see an icon that looks like a teddy bear. If you have it, delete it before it triggers and erases your hard drive. Delete it from your trash can, your waste can, or recycle bin. Make sure it's gone. Well, a lot of users did that. They didn't know better, and they removed the Java runtime. That was bad. If they knew that they should be contacting security or the network team and asking about it, is it real or is it a hoax? That would have been better. At the time, they thought if they reported a potential virus, they would be held liable for it because they would have had to have done something wrong. People did the wrong thing, thinking they were protecting themselves. Proper training and awareness will let users know that it may not be their fault if a virus is on their system, or they may have made a mistake and allowed it. but nothing's going to befall them if they do the right thing. Call security. Let us know. Let us let you know if it's a hoax. Let us investigate so that you can do your job, you can get your paycheck, you can keep your family fed. We're there as part of IT to ensure that you stay in your job, the company keeps making money, and you get a paycheck. It's them if they know the right thing, and it's good for the organization.